Right then, pull up a chair, grab a pint or a cup of tea if you're feeling proper, because today we're diving headfirst into the chaotic, blood-soaked and frankly, a bit bonkers world of Lu Bu. You know, that legendary warrior from the Three Kingdoms era, the one who was about as loyal as a cat in a creamery. So, picture this. China, late Eastern Han Dynasty. Everything's gone to pot. The emperor's a puppet, warlords are carving up the land like a Sunday roast, and everyone's got a knife in their back, or at least a scheme brewing. And smack dab in the middle of this glorious mess, you've got Lu Bu. Now, if the Three Kingdoms period had a rock star, it would be him. All flash, all power, and a good bit of a loose cannon. He was the kind of fella you'd want on your side in a scrap, but never, ever turn your back on him. He epitomised the phrase, keep your friends close and your enemies closer, especially if you're planning to stab one of them in the back. Our boy Lu Bu, born somewhere in Lintao. A bit of a mystery really, but what ain't no mystery is how he burst onto the scene. He starts off as a military officer under this general Ding Yuan. Now Ding Yuan probably thought he had a loyal, fierce warrior on his hands. Bless his heart. Lu Bu was a master of combat, a demon on horseback, basically the ancient Chinese equivalent of a superhero with a halberd. He was so good, in fact, that the immensely powerful and utterly terrifying warlord Dong Zhuo took notice. And what did Lu Bu do? Did he stick by his master, the man who gave him his start? Nah, he assassinated Ding Yuan quicker than you can say betrayal, and then strutted right over to Dong Zhuo's side. This wasn't just a career move, mate. This was the first big flashing neon sign that screamed, Lu Bu's loyalty, subject to change without notice. It set the tone for pretty much everything else he ever did. Ambitious? Absolutely. Trustworthy? You'd have better luck trusting a politician's promise. Now, don't get it twisted. Lu Bu was an absolute beast on the battlefield. When he showed up, people ran. After Dong Zhuo met his own rather sticky end, more on that later, Lu Bu inherited his forces. You'd think, right, he's got an army, he's a supreme warrior, he's going to carve out his own empire. But here's the rub. Our man Lu Bu, for all his martial genius, had the political savvy of a badger in a china shop. He was constantly at loggerheads with everyone. Yuan Shao, Cao Cao, the main man himself who'd go on to found the Wei state. You name it. He'd win a massive battle, like the one at Xiangyang, where he showed off some truly brilliant tactical skills. He'd pull off these incredible feats of arms, leaving his enemies reeling. But then, almost immediately, he'd mess it up. Couldn't keep his own blokes loyal, always falling out with allies. Just a constant whirlwind of conflict. It was like watching a Formula One driver who could outrace anyone but kept crashing into the pit wall. He was a god of war, no doubt, but a deeply, deeply flawed leader. Lu Bu's story isn't just about battles. It's a soap opera of epic proportions. His alliance with Dong Zhuo, massive power move. But it also painted a huge target on his back. And then there's the legendary Diao Chan. Now, whether she was a real person or a brilliant bit of propaganda, her story is intertwined with Lu Bu's downfall. Here's the scoop. Diao Chan was part of a plot to bring down the tyrannical Dong Zhuo. She was supposedly given to Dong Zhuo, but then also got involved with Lu Bu. This created a massive rift between the adoptive father and son. Lu Bu, completely infatuated, ends up killing Dong Zhuo because of her. It's all very dramatic, very Shakespearean, but with more halberds. Her role just hammers home how much personal emotions, desires, and frankly, a bit of horniness played into the high-stakes politics of the era. By the way, get this. A lesser-known fact about Lu Bu is that he was apparently an incredibly skilled archer. Beyond his halberd-wielding prowess, he once settled a dispute between Yuan Shu and Liu Bei by shooting an arrow through the gate of a camp from a distance of 150 paces. A feat so incredible it stopped an entire battle. So he wasn't just a brute, he had serious finesse. And speaking of enemies, his rivalry with Cao Cao was legendary. Cao Cao, the shrewd, calculating, and ultimately victorious warlord absolutely loathed Lu Bu. Their clash culminated at the Battle of Xiapi in 199 CE. Lu Bu, surrounded, starving, and his own men finally fed up with his erratic behaviour and constant backstabbing, was betrayed by his subordinates, captured, and then summarily executed by Cao Cao. It was the end of an era, and a fittingly dramatic end for a man who lived by the blade and died by the noose, or axe, depending on which account you believe. Now, let's have a quick think using our core identity layer principles. Was there moral clarity in Lu Bu's decisions? Not a chance. His purpose seemed to be self-aggrandizement and power, not any grand ideology. Did he act with belief or genuine action? More like impulsive, self-serving action. His integrity was as solid as a sieve. He was a master tactician, a phenomenal warrior, but his core identity was utterly devoid of consistent purpose or integrity, which ultimately sealed his fate. He couldn't be trusted, and in that cutthroat world, trust, however fragile, was currency. So, what's the upshot? Lu Bu's story, especially in the seminal historical novel Romance of the Three Kingdoms by Luo Guanzhong, has cemented his place in Chinese culture. He's that tragic hero, the unmatched warrior whose incredible skills are always undercut by his fatal flaws, his complete lack of loyalty, his short-sightedness, and his endless ambition without the strategic smarts to back it up. He's not just a historical figure, he's a cautionary tale. Films, TV shows, video games, he's everywhere. You'll see him portrayed as the ultimate badass, often riding his famous horse, red hair, but always with that cloud of impending doom hanging over him. He's the embodiment of might makes right, but also the brutal truth that even the mightiest can fall if they lack the virtues of loyalty and genuine leadership. His duality, that mix of raw power and utter unreliability, resonates even today. It makes you think, doesn't it? What's more important, unparalleled skill or unwavering character? With Lu Bu, the answer is pretty clear. So there you have it, Lu Bu, a force of nature, a whirlwind of betrayals, and one of the most compelling figures to ever strut across the stage of Chinese history. His life wasn't just a series of battles, it was a masterclass in how a lack of loyalty, integrity, and genuine purpose can bring even the most formidable warrior to their knees. He was the ultimate anti-hero, a dazzling star that burned bright but flickered out far too soon because he couldn't stay on anyone's side, including his own. He reminds us that true power isn't just about wielding a weapon, it's about wielding trust and purpose. Stay curious, stay sharp, and stay just sober enough to remember it all. This was just a swig of history, and if it wasn't in your textbook, it bloody well should have been. And before you go, do a brother favour and like, share and subscribe.